Hey y'all. I just came on here. I'm not on camera right now. But I just wanted to come on here and talk a little bit about the VMAs. I'm actually preparing to do episode, what is it, 64 of my podcast, or is it 63? I've been putting out mad videos, y'all. But I'm working on my most recent podcast, just getting things set up, and I wanted to talk just a little bit to give you guys an idea of what this podcast is going to be about. And I'm really going to talk about Chloe's second solo performance, but first official solo performance. And then, of course, it was on the VMAs, and she did her song "Have Mercy." And also, Normani, she performed her song "Wild Side" as well. And a lot of people were talking about, like, people were trying to put the girls against each other and saying, like, who would be a better performer, and everyone wanted to see, like, who did they, wanted to know who would be the best out of the two when it came down to stage presence, performing, and everything else. Now, I'm gonna talk further about that on my actual podcast. So I want you guys to actually subscribe to my channel, and you'll see the tidbits when it come out, and then you can listen to the full podcast on Apple and Spotify. But I'm gonna give you my full thoughts on Normani's performance versus Chloe's performance. Now, the one thing I want to say, I'm just going to start with Chloe, is I liked her performance. I think she did a really, really good job when it comes to her presentation. Vocally, she had range. She was not lip singing. She really sung into the microphone. And that's the thing that stood out to me, because a lot of times when it comes to artists that are performing on these award shows, a lot of them, whether they're new or old, they like to lip sync. And, oftentimes that's okay. People get away with it because of the hard dancing. But what Chloe was given during that performance was a full out performer. She was singing into the microphone. You could tell that she was actually singing in the microphone and not lip syncing. Her dancing was on point. I feel like, she was given a lot, and I think maybe a lot of people that did watch it, peep something. I think that would make the fan base a little bit like, oh yeah, she's giving a lot, but I like it. And then it can also be, oh, she's giving too much, I don't like it. You know what I mean? But for me, I enjoyed it. I think she did a really, really good job performing and entertaining. She's giving it her all. I was highly impressed for it to be her second solo performance. She really did deliver her song. She was going hard. I can tell you that. It was a couple of things that she did. She was crawling on the floor. She was doing the most, but it was in a good way. Um, and and I'm going to talk more about that on my podcast. I don't want to get like too deep into it. But I'm on here just to tell you guys that we're going to really, really talk about it on the show this week on the DJ Jericho podcast. So yeah, but outside of that, Normani's performance was pretty solid. I enjoyed the performance, of course. Her dancing was on point. I actually enjoyed the stage setup of Normani's performance a little better than Chloe's. And it's probably because, like, how her dances was lined up. I was like, whoa, like she really used the stage and really had her dances spread out. And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the lighting and the setting of how they had it set up. It was very eye catching. The thing about Normani is um, she does have a stage presence about her when it comes to her dancing and stuff like that. That makes you gravitate towards it. She did deliver. She definitely delivered during her performance, and I enjoyed that as well. Now, I do feel like a lot of times when we do see these female performers, oftentimes they're a bit over sexualized for me. Sometimes I just feel like, why is it that it just seemed like in this generation in particular, I feel like, the R&B and the hip hop girls are just OD sexualized, you know what I mean? And I just feel like sometimes, you know, you don't have to do all of that. Like, it was just something that both of them did a little extra during their performances that I was like, okay. And at the end, like when Chloe, she got on the floor, and I swear she licked the microphone. I said, why did she have to lick the microphone? Why was that necessary? Did she, I mean, I hope she got her vaccination. She over here licking mics, but outside of that, she killed it. Okay. I enjoyed the show. I really enjoyed her performance. She was not lip syncing. Like, I was impressed because honestly, I didn't know what to expect, you know, especially with her video hitting 8 million views in like 48 hours. Like, you had to deliver. And I know she probably was excited, maybe even nervous, because it's like, okay, at this point, you don't drop this video. Everybody's going to be watching. But she delivered. She delivered. She wasn't out of breath. You know, I was impressed with her performance, you know, but like I said before, she was doing the most. I feel like she was doing the most in a good way until when she started licking the microphone. I was just like, where are we going with this? I was like, where is we going with it? Okay. She's just licking microphones and but she slayed. She definitely slayed. You could tell that she was being trained by the greatest, i.e., Beyonce. You can definitely tell. You can tell that Chloe is very determined to really take her solo career to the next level. You know, I don't know, and I just want to. And with me doing that, I want to talk about this little thing that everybody says, like, you know, when the woman that a female decides to gloat up her career, they like to say that they over sexualize themselves. Now, I want to hear what you guys think. Do you guys feel like Chloe has over sexualized herself with her switching up her image, or is it just her becoming a woman? You know, and if she is over sexualized, why do you think that female entertainers in this generation, you know, it seems if they have to over sexualize themselves in order for them to gloat and go to the next level, like what is that about? You know, a lot of times people complain about stuff like that, and they just really thinking like, oh, well, you know, I already know what the steps I got to be. And then you got the conspiracy theorists out there that be like, oh, they're doing rituals, they're doing this, they're doing that. Look, it could go any way. I feel like it's more than, you know, more than likely, you know, it's just they, you know, sex sells. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I feel like if anything, I think the reason why she's more so pushing her sexuality, and a lot of the ladies are pushing their sexuality because sex sells. And I believe that, you know, the R&B girls are taking like heed from the hip hop girls like Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B and stuff that's overly sexualized, and they feel like, okay, well, they're overly sexualized. I need to be overly sexualized as well now, because, you know, I mean, we've been in a generation where females have been like, you know, um liberated per se, you know, and into their sexuality and embracing that. But you know, it is a bit extreme these past few years. It has been a bit extreme, but you know, who am I to say what's right or wrong in regards to that? Whatever they want to do, those are grown women, and if they want to express themselves in a way or embrace their sexuality in a way, that is their personal right. You know, I'm not anyone to come in and step on that, but you know, sometimes I do wonder, like, why is it that every time female artists start to grow their brand, sometimes it could just get OD sexual. Like, I don't know. Like, I really, really like both of the ladies' performances, but at the end of both performances, I just feel like, you know, why do they have to always push so much sex? You know, like why did Chloe have to lick the mic? Like, why did she lick the mic? You know, we still got COVID out here. Why she licked that mic? But I mean, outside of that, I ain't got nothing else to complain about. I mean, I wasn't really complaining right then and there. I'm just saying, like, did she really just lick a microphone? That's what I was thinking, because I wasn't expecting that. I didn't expect that at all. I didn't expect her to be out there like this, like, you know, just going for her. It's like licking mics and stuff. I was just like, whoa, wow, did she just lick the microphone? Like, Chloe out here said, fuck it, y'all. I'm going for mine. I'm going to lick this mic and y'all going to like it. And I think everybody did, because everyone's been blowing up on the Shade Room talking about her, talking about how amazing she did. She did do a good job. Like, I was impressed. Like, she actually performed. Like, when you thought the song was over, she was like, no, girl, listen, we got more to this. Like, she really delivered the fuck out of that song. She delivered it, okay? Um, she really delivered it. She gave. And I think that she did a fantastic job. And when it comes to the delivery, but this is the thing, and I'm going to jump off of Normani and Chloe for a second, because you know, we both can say that we could just say that they did a good job. I mean, how long am I going to draw off with that? Because I'm going to actually talk further about that in my podcast. But another thing I want to talk about, and it's just agitating me, and I just been a little annoyed, is the fact that Okay, Lotto, the rapper, right? They had her doing like the in between performances on the commercials. I would say that MTV did a pretty good job when it comes to the presentations this year. They they featured old school artists on there doing presentations for the new school artists. So I liked that idea. Of course, Doja Cat was hosted, so I don't know if she implemented that idea, but it was a good idea. We've seen people like Cyndi Lauper. They started off with Madonna, introducing and talking about herself. It was just it was I would say it was relatively nice. It was relatively nice. Um, but they did also add it in with like the newbies, people that's not quite ready for the MTV stage per se, because they only have a couple of songs out, but they're giving them features and stuff like that. So it's similar to how BET's been basically setting it up for artists to like have their artist feature moment, and then they get them 30 seconds. But see what MTV did, the VMAs, what they did was like did that times 10. So they gave those artists at least 6 7 performances. The show was like 3 hours long, and in between almost every commercial break, it was her and St. John, this other guy named St. John that was performing. And I heard St. John's music because I was actually putting together a mix for a party, and I put that music together this weekend. And it was so funny that he was performing on the VMAs. I was like, oh, that's what he looked like, okay? Because sometimes I just hear music, I like it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to throw this as part of my mix. But Lotto, I feel like she was just exhausting me. Like every time I seen her perform, I was exhausted because she didn't have her own music. I just feel like her music is too heavily sampled, and I just feel like girl, what is it? What are you giving? Like, what is this supposed to give? It's not giving what it's supposed to give. Like, it's really not giving what it's supposed to give. Like, it's supposed to give, but it's not giving what it's supposed to give. I just feel like you got the Mariah Carey sample that she had did, and then there was another hip hop song, and I'm sitting here like, dude, like it's so obvious that this is from that artist. Like the sampling is just at this point, it's just you're just stealing their songs. I think this generation does not understand the full concept, or the producers that's making these songs don't understand the concept of sampling to create instead of sampling to steal. And I just feel like it was like a quick second that they gave her. It had to be under a minute that she was singing her song. It was so fast, and all I heard was Mariah Carey, and then her say like one line over the Mariah Carey song that she sampled, and then it went to commercial, and it's kind of confusing because it's like if you're gonna sample a song, right? And make it your own, but also make sure that you're making a new song within that sample. Like I just feel like it's really just you just ripping a song. And I know some of these artists, they're not gonna care. I don't think Mariah Carey cared. Clearly, the girl got the song, whoever in her team made it happen, for her to be able to sample the song. But it's like, yeah, they're gonna get that money from the song, but it's like, what about your artistry? Like, yeah, you might not be being sued by Mariah Carey, but what about your actual artistry as an artist? Like, like, do you even care about that, or you just want to just sit here and continually just take the idea to just take the music from another person? Like, I just feel like that's just a no for me personally. You know what I mean? I don't know, y'all. It's just I just don't really care. I didn't really care for her. You feel me? But that's just me. I just feel like I think that I feel like I already know she got a big fan base. So somebody likes her music. But I just hope that she started really creating her own like series, like her own music, and start producing some stuff that's really from the heart, and start getting some better producers around her that actually give a damn about producing some new music. Because there's nothing wrong. I feel like everybody has samples, right? I feel like everybody samples stuff, but it's one thing for you to sample a song and make another song within that song, but it's a whole different thing where you are completely just not even not even putting effort into making a new song within the sample. It's just you know um I can say that a lot of the times when it comes to these music artists, I just feel like they're lazy, and I feel like they just all they want to do is sample. And if you guys are just coming in, I'm talking about Lotto, I'm not talking about Chloe, and I'm not talking about Normani right now. I discussed that. I already said that I enjoyed Normani's performance. and Chloe's performance. I feel like they both did a good job. But back to sampling, I just feel like if you're going to sample an artist, make sure you do it right. Like, don't just come in here talking about some. Oh, I'm going to sample it, and you can't even. You just literally just taking the song and copying and pasting it. That's just how it feels these days. Like, it doesn't feel like people are putting love into their music anymore. You know, and I just really wish that artists would have the confidence to take risks. You know, stop using old hits and trying to make another hit out of it. Because the way that they do their sampling, it just, to me, it just be all wrong. Like, they don't never actually have it right. Like, you know, like it has, you have to have some type of pizzazz with yourself, you know? Like, you can't just be like, oh yeah, Mariah Carey song, let me just throw that in there, and then I'm gonna just give up a couple of, you know, a quick 8 bar, you know what I'm saying? You know, a quick a quick 16 bars real quick, you know, real quick, and you know, and there go my new song. It's like, it's not really your song, bro. Like, it's really not your song. Like, I don't know, y'all. It just bothered me. That's just me as a creator. Like, I mean, shit. Like, and the thing is, my ear is sensitive because I'm a DJ. So when somebody sample a song, I immediately know. Like, I immediately know for the most part. Like, oh yeah, they done got this from this, and this, or you know what I mean? Because I'm listening to all different types of music, and I love old school music. So I know when somebody's shit is sampled. I know when it's somebody else's music that's from even the 1970s and stuff, because I'm like, I done heard this before. You know what I mean? And like, I just get tired of the laziness, you know, the lack of creativity, the laziness when it comes to the creativity, the lack of creativity. You know, I just feel like we need more artists to be artists and be more creative and be more of a creator instead of like a copy and paster. Like, I don't know, like, I don't know, like, you know what I mean? But yeah, I feel like Chloe, she's on her way. Um, I do think that if she keeps working at it, she has a real strong solo career. You know, a solo career ahead of her. I feel like she knows what she's trying to do and she's trying to execute it with the best of her abilities. She was doing a lot on stage, but I think that she was trying to force the issue that yes, I can do this by myself. Yes, I'm a solo artist. Yes, and trying to show that she was confident in what she was doing. So, you know, I really wish Chloe well with her career. Normani, I'm glad that your team got their itch together, because I don't know who else was on this live last time, but I talked about Normani's team, like, basically just not giving a damn. Allegedly, do I gotta say allegedly? Allegedly, because they didn't even have her originally scheduled to perform at the VMAs to push this single "Wild Side," and I didn't understand why not. Like, I didn't understand that, and a lot of people are trying to figure out, like, why is that Chloe's so successful? Well, we clearly know why Chloe's successful, because she works hard, but also she has the backing of Beyonce as a mentor to help her really hone her craft and really take things to the next level. You know, Normani, she came from a girl group, and she's a really great dancer. She's a really great dancer. You know, but when I go through like vocals comparing the two, I actually like Chloe singing better, but then at the same time, I really like Normani's dancing better. I feel like both of them have their own unique style when it comes to their presentations as artists. So, I just want to see how both of them are going to evolve as artists. I want to see how far Chloe's career is going to go. I want to see, and it kind of reminds me of back in the day, because I'm a little older. When Beyonce started her solo career, and it was she had the song. What was that first song she put out? Was it that "Work It Out"? Then you gotta work it out, and everybody was like, okay. It was like that sampler song to let you know, like, okay, yeah, yeah, because you guys see it when she's in Destiny's Child, but when she came out, she's like, okay. But then that was like the first time you seen her perform that. I was like at 106 Park, nothing too big, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden she drops Crazy in Love, and it's like, oh shit, And I feel like Chloe's music video Have Mercy did that for her, and the performance that she did was on point. But I'm waiting for that Crazy in Love moment for her, because I feel like she can get to that point. I feel like she can get to that point. This is her first at it. And I also really want to see her and her sister together really reach the next height when it comes to their artistry. You know, I hope that they don't give up on their group. You know, I know that Holly is acting, and of course she's going to be in a Little Mermaid and everything else, play Ariel and stuff. So you know, it's a lot going on with the girls, but I'm looking forward to seeing how Chloe evolves as a soloist. I want to see what we're going to see, because like I said before, this is her, you know, Beyonce-ish moment, but it's not Crazy in Love just yet. You know what I mean? It's like that work it out, like, oh, we see it. But I'm waiting for her to give me that Crazy in Love moment. And I feel like that's gonna really do it. But I mean, honestly, her music video is already taking her all the way to the next level, because the video is at 8 million views. That video is solid as fuck. The song is solid. I mean, the production on point. It's just snapping. And on top of that, I don't know if she sampled any other person's music in the song or not, but it, you know, is not heavy. The sampling, if it is any sampling, it's not heavy enough for me to know, like, oh yeah, she took this from somebody else. I think it, you know, I think that that's a big plus, you know, when it comes to her being an artist, because it makes her stand out even more. Sometimes the other thing back to samples, I feel like sometimes samples like drowns out the actual artist, and it kind of makes it harder for that new artist to have their own identity. And that's the thing that I'm basically was talking about earlier, just going back to Lotto, is like, I feel like Lotto I feel like Lotto could be more successful if she put more effort into new music, like not sampled music, just some brand new shit that hasn't been heard before. There's so many producers in the music industry that is willing to make some music from scratch. I hope that she finds a new producer. You know, I hope Lotto finds a new producer and like really give us some new music, like not this shit that we heard 20 years ago for somebody else who did it better. Like you know, because you get to comparing and you're like, it puts me off. You know what I mean? So I've hopefully Lotto is able to find that. And I feel like once she's able to find that, I think she'll be pretty solid, you know. But I just feel like as a whole, the music industry, when it comes to the R&B girls, they're starting to serve up and they're starting to deliver, because it was a big drought when it came down to the music department, when it's R&B, female R&B in particular. Nobody was checking for it, but I think that the R&B girls are fed up with being thrown, you know, under the bridge, and you know, now they sexying it up a bit. And I'm not saying that they need to, but they sometimes they may feel like they have to, because you know, I noticed that, you know, in the industry, you know, people are more so glorifying hip hop, black, you know, excuse me, hip hop artists, female hip hop artists, male hip hop artists in this particular genre and era. Um, but they don't really pay much attention to the singer. So I feel like um I really feel like this is an era where the R&B girls are like, girl, we have had enough. You are gonna pay attention to us. This is what we're doing. And yes, we're gonna slay. If we gotta rap a little bit, we're gonna do that. But someone's gonna pay attention to what we gotta say. So, you know, I'm gonna give best luck to both of them actually, and I'm gonna actually get more into and more depth. You know, I kind of was like rambling on this live, but I'm more sure did this live because I wanted to give y'all a little bit of an idea of what I would be talking about on my podcast on episode 63. So when I go on episode 63, that's when I'm gonna really go in on my thoughts. But right now I'm keeping it PG-13. I don't want to give y'all too much, but I'm definitely doing a rundown of the VMAs from tonight and giving my full unbiased opinion. You know, my full thoughts, my honest opinion on all of the performances, you know. But I feel like Chloe, she's doing something. I feel like she's gonna end up getting her crazy love moment, that Beyonce extra Beyonce moment, and I think that she's gonna take off. I know she's gonna take off, you know. But anyways, I'm about to hop off of here because it's been like a whole half an hour, and I really wanted to come on here for like 5 minutes, but it seemed like every time I come on here, I get to rambling, and here we go again, another live. But anyways, I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. Let me hop up off of here. Appreciate everybody for supporting. Go ahead and check out my actual full podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, everywhere. All you gotta do is type in DJ Jericho podcast, and you'll be able to join me, hear my full opinions, my full thoughts, and all those good things. You know what I mean? So Hopefully I will catch you guys soon. Y'all comment below, who do you think had the better performance? Was it Chloe or was it Normani? Not trying to put the ladies against each other. Why or why not? Who did you become more of a fan of following their performance? Did they do their job with winning you over as a fan? And what do you think they can both improve on when it comes to their stage performance? Now, for me, I think that they did a solid job. Both of them did a solid job. But it's other stuff I want to talk about and more critiquing, but I'm not going to do that on here. I'm going to do it on my podcast. So I'll catch you guys later. Bye.